are full.
Just a minute, Kyle. All right, we're going to open this meeting now of the process committee on Tuesday, is it the 6th?
It is.
At 10:30. We have present Liz Lafferty, Patty Garcia, Kyle Davies, and myself. Bill Apple has not yet shown up. There are a couple of members of the public who are present, and they are properly videoed off and muted. The people who are here from the public, I'm pretty sure that you guys are aware because of your pretty faithful attendance to some of these meetings, that we will be opening public comment toward the end, in the last several minutes of the meeting. The meeting goes from 10:30 to 12. So we will look for you at that point. And I know you know the drill there. And I implore anybody on the committee that if I start running into end time, yell at me. Hey, we've got public comment, okay? Because it's possible that could happen. But I'm hopeful that this meeting will be orderly and all of that. Kyle, you were trying to tell me something and I interrupted you as I was opening the meeting. What was that? Something about my box or something?
We could save it for the end too, but the Justice and Equity met yesterday, and at the very end of that, we kind of determined that committee and this one have some really strong, maybe some of the strongest kind of cross population.
Yes.
Like language in the preamble, it does impact how the choice of words is almost exactly what just
I did read. I read your email, Kyle, about that, and about how I need to be prepared for Wednesday to make a preparation of where we are for this committee, right?
That's right. Perfect.
Okay. What
I just
else?
wanted to tell you that your phone, the two numbers I had for you, 615 number, and then the other Lopez number that are findable online are both, one's disconnected and one's
Okay.
full.
Let me tell you that the 615 number was my number from 40 years ago when I lived in Nashville. Well, now I moved only eight years ago. So that's
you don't
that's
have to
not
give
my
any
number.
of it in public comment, but if you wanted to email us, if you want to be able to, have emergency.
I do not mind either Micheline or Alexandra knowing my phone number. So I'll give it to you. Yes. Patty.
I'm just going to say that these recordings are open to everybody later. They're on
All right.
YouTube, so
You've convinced me. You've convinced me. I'll give it to you later. Let me just tell you that the other phone number that you have is probably our landline, which we have abandoned long ago. My wife and I each have cell phones. And so it's my cell phone number, which is, there's only one number that you can reach me at. In an emergency, you can reach me at my wife's cell phone number, which is quite similar. I will send you those numbers.
Perfect. Thanks. I didn't even take a bunch of time.
That's all right. That's all right. We have
And we have other members of the public attempting to get on.
oh,
I
okay.
just got an email saying that the link doesn't work, so I'm sending them one from my calendar right now.
There's Bill. He's trying to get on, and I just admitted him, so maybe there.
What is going on? Okay.
Okay, hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
So I guess they still consider me, hopefully not the host, because there's little red dots between both you and.
Well, they let me record.
So
Yeah, they let me start the recording. So anyway, I would be honored for you to be my co-hostess. So,
sorry about that.
or however that works. So.
Didn't mean to.
All right. The other thing I would like to urge the rest of the committee to do, because I have proven clearly not good at this. And maybe only you, Patty, will see this. I don't know how this works, but if other people show up, I don't want them to sit in the waiting room waiting for me to admit them. That's not a good thing at all. That's my fault that I'm not noticing that. So please yell out. So anyway, we have done the roll call. Hello, Bill. How are you? Okay.
I just came off a council meeting, so I'm sorry I was late.
Okay. before I say another word, I'm going to have to get a little drink of something because I am dehydrated. Okay. All right. The minutes. Did everyone have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to. People ask that question.
I
And
move they be approved.
Second.
do I have a second? We've had a motion and a second that the minutes be approved. Any discussion regarding that? Are there any changes to the minutes that anyone suggests? So the minutes are true and accurate. Let's take a vote now. All in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye. Aye. And I'll vote for Liz. Aye. Okay. That's unanimous. And the minutes have been adopted. Now we move on to the first and I hope relatively short item of the agenda, which is the approval finally of the proposed preamble. I want to thank Liz and Bill. I want to thank everybody for what they've done so far, but particularly Liz and Bill for getting together back and forth by email, working on this thing. And then I joined them on Saturday, and this got hammered out with improvements by both Bill and Liz. And I sent out the document, the proposed preamble, to our charter, which has been approved by 3 of the members. So actually what we're looking for is whether or not we're going to have unanimity. So although we can have an open discussion at this point, and if either Bill or Liz wants to change something, I will, after I've shot them and dragged their body away, then we can, no, I would do nothing of the sort. And they are actually free to suggest amendments if some have occurred to them. So to start this off, I would like to make a motion that we approve the proposed preamble, which is before us, and that proposed preamble then be sent on to the full commission. Yes, Liz.
I know you're going to shoot me. It's a good thing you love me because I've made this man crazy. But I do have a suggested change of one word. Having put this out to a couple of community members, it was a consistent comment that I got back. So how would you like me to address that, Bob?
Well, we have a motion or a part of a motion.
I don't have a second, so
Yep.
let's continue to discuss before we come up with a motion. So this is just a discussion now. It's not a discussion pertaining to the motion. Okay. I understand Liz has a one-word addition that she would like to make. What is that, Liz?
A one-word correction.
Correction.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the last line, what it currently reads is doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of the San Juan Islands economic possibility and soul sustaining beauty. I
No,
suggest.
it says economic stability. Economic stability and soul sustaining. Doesn't that say, isn't that what everyone
Oh.
has? Yeah. So
Okay, then, because I was going to recommend we change it to stability.
there we go. We got it already. We got your
And
recommendation
So
already.
even with the word stability, I have gotten consistent pushback from 3 different people, unrelated conversations, who all had concerns about that last line, opening the door too far for people to say, hey, I have the, economic stability right. And so I wanted to introduce that. We don't listen to public comment till the end. We will have voted on this. So I wanted to bring that issue forward early, that's.
Oh, I totally don't understand what you're saying. Economic stability is covered in this line. Are you saying
what
they don't like that, or they
There's-
want?
they're saying it opens the door possibly too wide to people continuing to do what's best for them at the expense of nature. And I'm reporting back. So I put it out there kind of without caveats to people, and
Is-
all 3 of them had concerns about that last line.
Is there anybody here who thinks that economic stability for human beings is a bad idea?
It looked like Bill and Kyle both had responses.
Yes, I'm going to, yeah. but let me first ask that question.
Kyle?
I'm not sure it's a bad idea. Let me start and say, I so appreciate the work. I think we're in the wheelhouse, and I think that it's very, I expect that, you know, Bob, you have some allegiance and some background with this. I appreciate the frustration. I think other than some wordsmithing, I was going to make the same sort of unimpacted comment or notice. When I read through it, I was surprised that the three of you used, so economy is actually in there twice. In the last paragraph, it's in the first sentence, and then economic stability. And I'm not sure why.
Well,
I'm not sure what you're after. Those of you who like that word, what does that recognize? What does that word recognize?
I am sure that the origin of that word and the use of those words was Bill Apple's brain. I'm sure that that's where that came from, because he has concerns in that way. I personally don't get what's wrong with it. I don't get what is wrong with telling the people we're asking to vote for this, that one of the things we're concerned with is that they have economic stability, and that one of the results of protecting the environment around us is that economic stability will be furthered for the people who live here, the human beings who live here, who after all are the only species who have the ability to come up with these words anyway. Yeah, Bill.
Well, I think I understand, being on the Visitors Bureau board, exactly what we're talking about here. And I have to say that there could be confusion, because, but I will say the tourist industry that is here is not a stable industry. It is an extremely cyclical and unstable industry. And it's very hard to read that otherwise. But to make, since people are going to be confused, I think you've run a good test, Liz, because if it confuses people, it doesn't matter what's right. We don't want to put anything out that's confusing. So I would suggest substituting somewhere the word resilient.
That sounds good, doesn't it, Liz?
And we might, I don't know whether we have to use the term twice, but resilient, one thing that, again, the tourist industry is not, is resilient. They have been through some amazing times. They proved it, so we don't have to argue that. So I think we can take a look at it, changing that term in some form that satisfies people.
Okay, so hey, are you guys still there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, you just disappeared from my
Oh,
screen, and
And
I
I
need to
have a-
figure out how to get back to you. Maybe like this. I don't know.
I have a.
No, like this.
I would take
Bob, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'll get back to you in just a second.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and I have my hand raised. I'm going to go ahead and ask a question while you. find
Sure,
your back to us.
sure.
So Kyle, I wanted to respond to your question, and I think Bill addressed it somewhat, but the putting that in there in as strong a language as is was to get as much alignment as we can from people who are going to have a knee-jerk negative reaction to doing this. That's what the language was about.
Understood.
But you've
Another
changed your mind, right, Liz?
no, I mean, I still think, I really appreciate Bill's thinking that we need to do everything we can to enroll that particular audience. And one possibility is we leave what it says before and just delete that whole last sentence.
Patty?
well, I was just going to say that economic stability is important. It doesn't necessarily mean you do that instead of all of the other things. It's not instead, it's part of the package. And I don't have a problem with having it in there myself, because I believe it's all part of the package, and we have to consider nature no matter what we do. So
What if we took, as someone suggested a moment ago, what if we took the entire last sentence out so that people were not, no longer had a problem with it? Is there
That
anything
would work for me.
work for how about for Patty? Kyle, work for you if you take the last sentence out?
Yeah.
We're looking for Kyle's answer. Kyle is muted. He's thinking about it.
Bob, your sound broke up for me, so I didn't hear what the question you're
Oh,
asking.
okay, whether people were good with us striking the last sentence. And so far you have me good, Bill good, Patty good. I'm asking Kyle now, and then you, Liz. I assume that you're going to be good with it. Kyle? And it's okay to say no.
Yeah, not to
No.
be difficult. I mean, the soul sustaining components of the county are certainly important, worth celebrating and worth securing in some way.
Okay, all right.
You know, I don't want to say that just, it's really, I don't have an issue necessarily with, I appreciate Liz's, you know, initial sort of input about, you know, how much the door cracks open. I get that. And I guess I would say the same. So in line one, a healthy economy, I've just posed the question in the chat. I think you can live here and appreciate the county and all of the components of it. And certainly everyone who buys groceries or puts food in their mouth is some part of the economy. But I guess it depends, much like the word nature. I'm not sure the word economy in that first sentence is, how is it separate from community, I guess?
I would think that a healthy economy raises a positive flag for a lot of people who are looking at action toward protecting the environment as something that might hurt a healthy economy. Well, here, I think this is suggesting that here in these islands, the way things go, taking care of the world around us is going to help their help their economy be healthy. Isn't that what you intended, Bill?
Yeah, I think, well, Patty, you go ahead. I'll comment.
Yes, Patty.
I just wanted to say, actually, that last sentence we could keep in there if we just took economic stability out of it and pushed it on the soul sustaining beauty of our area kind of thing. You know,
How about this,
stuff that-
Patty? What about the suggestion that somebody made that we strike economic stability and replace it with the word resiliency? Everybody seemed to be okay with that word, and it kind of background suggests the same thing. It's gonna be resilient. Bill.
Well, I think one of the problems we've got is that a large number of the people who are focused on what they identify as the environment do not rely on the local economy. And in fact, when they can avoid it, they go to the mainland. This hurts everybody. However, the people who don't think this way do not see this. They do not see the unemployed. They haven't gone by the trailer park in Friday Harbor, where there's a tremendous amount of domestic abuse because people are unemployed and angry. There is tremendous psychological damage for people in producing years who are unable to produce. And they turn and things go very wrong, and spouses and children pay. Now, the people who are here, who have independent means, I live on Social Security. I have independent means. The government that prints the money is going to pay me. I can be environmental as hell, but and I like to be, but I have to recognize there are other people, and we can't just say we're going to protect the animals, not people. People are animals, and they have to be protected too. Unfortunately, between humans and the environment stands the economy. And if this isn't balanced, and if the economy isn't resilient, all you're going to get is a lot of people here, and it'll be a vacation spot for those who can afford it. And that's not the place where children grow up and thrive, and families see children and grandchildren, because those are the people who have to leave. This is why the economy is important. There needs to be opportunity And I'm not encouraging tourism per se. The reason I'm on the EDC board is to find alternatives to tourism. But people think about the economy and they think about tourism as the enemy. Yes, it's expensive on the environment, and we need to find alternatives so that we don't need tourism.
Thank you, Bill. Liz?
I do believe that this is right at the heart of why this document is so challenging to write, because we're all aware that we're talking about a heart and mind shift, a cultural reframe of
Yeah.
how we live our lives. So finding language for this short preamble that moves the needle from the economy driving our decisions to a balanced people's needs and the environment's needs, equally being at the forefront of our decision making.
Right.
That's the language that we're attempting to find here.
I think the first sentence says that. But anyway, Patty had her hand up. Patty.
Oh, gosh, I didn't, sorry.
Oh, back down. Here is what I propose. I'm getting ready to make a motion unless somebody raises their hand and starts going, no. I didn't get very far. Liz.
So right now, if I understand it correctly, economy has a place at the table. So if there's a lawsuit, the economy and the impact of the economy has a place at the table for the courts to, hear them.
Serious
Thank you.
place.
Nature does not. That's what we're attempting to correct.
Mhm.
Oh, right.
Not by saying this batch of rights here are the only ones we recognize and are going to talk about. That would be the wrong path. I think we would all agree. But I agree with what you're saying there, Liz. Bill. Okay.
I'm going to make a motion here.
You are.
I move
Okay.
We adopt this preamble with the following changes. In the first line of the last paragraph, we omit healthy and insert resilient and strike the last sentence.
Wait. There is no word healthy. You mean we
Healthy
take
economy?
economic stability?
A
Did you say the
resilient
last
economy.
line?
Bill,
A
just
resilient
say it again,
economy, the
please.
First line and strike
first
last
line.
sentence. We don't have to repeat this stuff.
What? Let's see.
We further recognize the interdependence between a community economy and the natural world. Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, wait till we get to the definition of nature. Because
Let's stick on this, please. Is that what you're suggesting? Is that your motion? Strike healthy,
motion
healthy,
is-
and vibrant.
strike healthy, insert resilient in the first line of the last paragraph. Strike last
In
sentence. of the last paragraph.
in both instances, the word healthy appears twice. So do you want resilient community
I
and
want
resilient?
resilient in the first line of the last paragraph and the last sentence stricken.
Okay, I understand that. But when you say resilient, where do you want it now? In the place of healthy.
The word healthy in the first line of the last paragraph.
Okay, Bill, the word healthy occurs twice.
But not in the first
So,
sentence.
Bill,
In the first sentence of the third paragraph, the word healthy occurs twice. Do you want
No.
resilient? It says between a healthy community and a healthy
Oh, yeah,
economy.
Yes,
Okay, healthy is in there twice. You want resilient
no,
instead of healthy.
I want to make healthy used only once in that.
Where? In front, before which word?
for community, before economy.
The one that modifies economy.
Okay.
Okay, that's healthy and
People resilient. We
Okay.
want people in the community healthy. The economy needs to be resilient.
okay, economy is resilient, so strike that one.
Yeah,
And keep
the first
the other
line.
one in there. So you're suggesting making that change, taking healthy out and putting resilient in before the word economy and striking the
Right.
last line.
in
All right.
the first line, and I'm suggesting striking the last sentence.
Right. The last line. Right. Last sentence.
Well, the
All
last
right.
It prints
The
out
last
differently
sentence,
for me.
starting with doing and ending with beauty, that sentence you want to strike, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
All right. I second that because
But
at
wait,
this point, I'll second
before we go
almost
to a
anything.
motion, please, before we go to a motion,
We're already in a motion.
There's
There's time to discuss. Go ahead. What do you want to discuss?
Point of order here. Point of order. We technically, you can't have discussion until there's been a second.
That's right. And I just did. I seconded it.
There
It's
is
now
no
time for
discussion.
discussion. And Liz wants to discuss. Liz.
I wanted somebody to read it in full to make sure we're all voting on the same thing.
Be glad to do that. Okay.
Okay?
All right. Delete present preamble and replace with the following : preamble. We, the people of San Juan County, Washington, established this home rule charter, securing for ourselves the rights granted by law and the responsibilities of self-governance. All persons within, and next paragraph, these are 3 paragraphs. All persons within our county are equal under the law and afforded equal protection under the law. 3rd paragraph reads.
Under those laws.
Under those laws, yes, thank
Okay.
you. We recognize the interdependence between a healthy community, a resilient economy, and a vibrant natural world, and acknowledge our place as part of the natural world. We recognize that nature has the right to survive and thrive, and affirm our obligation to defend those rights. Doing so secures for ourselves and future generations.
Oh, wait,
No,
we're striking that last line.
Stop at defend those rights, period. That's how it would read. And I seconded that. Do we have any further discussion?
I'd like a moment to breathe.
Sure. Go ahead, breathe. Tell
'Cause
me when
I-
you're done.
Yeah.
Tell me
I
when you're willing to
really-
stop.
Yeah, I really don't, and I understand we want to get this wrapped up, and I also want to hold firm to just be with it. Yeah. So knowing that this is going to go through another draft, it bothers me that we're voting on this without hearing further from the community. And I understand Robert's rules. So knowing that this is going to go through another draft and the community will get to weigh in further, then
Yes.
I would vote in favor of the changes we've made.
That's good to hear. I'll say this: the community has had the opportunity to listen to us, this committee, talk about this many times. Okay, now we're at the final step, and as you observed, they will get a chance to talk about it now, and also, I mean, when I say now, at the end of our meeting, and also at the other meeting, at the big meeting. Yes, Patty.
I still sort of like having a summing up sentence at the bottom that doesn't talk about economic stability, but just says doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of the San Juan Islands its soul-sustaining beauty. I don't know. I just like the way you say that.
Okay, I would be okay with that. You're suggesting in that last line, after San Juan Islands, you strike the next, you strike economic stability and put its, and then you strike and so it says San Juan Islands, its soul sustaining beauty. That's what you would like, and is that, do you offer that as a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Bill, do you accept that as the friendly amendment?
Read this sentence as changed.
Yes, and please correct me if I read this wrong. Doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of the San Juan Islands its soul-sustaining beauty.
Okay, it's a good puff. I like it.
Kyle.
I would like to be difficult and change San Juan Islands to this county or something of that nature. It is a legal document, and there is.
Yeah, that's my concern.
There are
There are islands that aren't in the county. Is that what you said? I thought
There
all
are
the
San
islands
Juan
were.
Islands like Cyprus that are, I don't know where the technicality lies, but
Okay.
well, I want it to cover everything. It technically does.
Kyle's
not.
right.
Yeah,
Future
yes.
generations of this county. So, okay, now I'm going to read this again. Only the last sentence, because
How
it
about
sounds
how
like
about
everybody.
our county?
Pardon me?
Yes, I like it.
What was that?
How about our county? We are speaking. It is our
Yes.
county. It is
Future
our
generations
charter.
of
Okay.
our county. We could even say, we even go out on a limb and call it San Juan County if you wanted, but our county. Okay. Let me, I've gone goofy again. Just a second. Let me get back in this thing. Bang and bang. Okay. That if so, it would read like this. Doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of our county its soul sustaining beauty. Wow.
And then.
Does no harm.
Nobody's holding their nose. Okay, so
And Bob, again, if we just sit with it for a moment.
sure.
Just
Go ahead.
res-
Of course.
Respect the elegance of what occurs in empty space.
Everyone needs a chance to be fully on board and consider this as long as they need to. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm going to read it in part for the community members who are here. I know for them, they can't see the doc. So I think we're there. So let's see, I'll read it aloud. Bob, I'd sign up for anything that you read. You wouldn't know that, but. So we, the people of San Juan County, Washington, established this Homeworld Charter, securing for ourselves the rights granted by law and the responsibility of self-governance. Next paragraph, all persons within our county are equal under the law and afforded equal protection under those laws. Final paragraph, we recognize the interdependence between a healthy community, a resilient economy, and a vibrant natural world, and acknowledge our place as part of the natural world. We recognize that nature has the right to survive and thrive, and affirm our obligation to defend those rights. Doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of our county its soul-sustaining beauty.
Liz, do you have a motion?
I motion that we adopt the preamble as Kyle.
Are we still discussing?
No, we're going to discuss in a minute. She moved that we adopt it. I'm going to second it again, and now let's talk about it and change it some more. Okay, Patty, or actually Kyle, you had your hand up first, didn't you?
Go ahead, Patty.
Go ahead. Okay.
I was just gonna say, we still have the other motion on the floor, and we just have a friendly amendment which can be changed to what we've recently discussed, and then we just vote on that motion with the friendly amendment, and it actually is this new document. I don't think we need a new motion.
Patty, I believe you're correct. So we would strike Liz's motion, move back to Bill's Bill, and ask him, Bill, do you accept all those changes as friendly amendment?
I will accept all changes as friendly amendments, and I hope the second will, so we can move on.
I'm the second, and I will also accept the changes that Liz just read into the record a moment ago. Now, further discussion. And feel free, don't be intimidated or anything. Feel free to
comment,
discuss
Bob.
it further if you want to. Yes, Bill.
A point of order. Alexandra has asked if she could see it. And I want to make sure everybody understands that this thing will be a public document. I think when it goes to the larger CRC, it should be, and that it doesn't matter what we think, because the CRC is going to grind it fine, and that's going to be the real test of this. And so what we send is not going to be final by any means. Everybody's going to have a shot at it on Wednesday. There'll be a lot of ACAC, and when the public checks in at the end of the meeting, there'll be more ACAC. So I want to make sure everybody understands this is a very tentative document.
I know Alexandra's listening, and obviously that question must have come in by chat. Let me tell you that I will ask the chairman of the commission if we can, and this is just tomorrow I'm talking about, if we can share this document with the public at this point, or what he wants to do about making it accessible, at least to the people who attend the meetings. The chances are that when they talk about it, it will be put up on the screen. If I was technologically more savvy, it would be sitting up on the screen right now, and you'll all be able to see it. Bill.
The real discussion is going to come when we define nature, which is where a lot of minds are going to get blown. They really are, because nature is not a thing. And people are using it as the statement, oh, we're going to give rights to this thing. Since it's not a thing, it's something different. I think we need to reserve time for that, because it's going to be it's kind of a dirty trick to hand over something with a term that we haven't defined.
Thank you, Bill. The answer to that question is that I would get my tail in a real twist if I took things that we were proposing here, and before they ever got, after we approved them, before they ever got sent out over to the commission, I set them out to the public. I mean, everybody has got to realize what a problem that would be for the workings of the commission. Now, the commission itself as a whole may decide that that's appropriate. I'm going to ask tomorrow, because I know why you want to see it, and I'd love to have you see it. I just don't want to get this wrong. So at any rate, we are back to the motion, and Kyle, discussion on the motion.
I so appreciate the process of doing this step by step with all of you, and the time taken in between. I'm going to challenge the group on the word beauty, the very final word. While I think that's true, and it's a lot of what I value here, I think we've talked about other things that are of substance in the county that people value in addition to beauty, or that include beauty. And I'm struggling here in the background to come up with a better word or another word, but it really is doing so secures.
Go ahead.
Doing so secures for ourselves and future generations of our county. It's soul sustaining. I think this when I stand on the beach and look at the peninsula. I think this when I look at my grandchildren who are in school, has nothing to do with beauty, but there's a quality of being here that's, anyway.
Kyle, let me make a suggestion there. If you want to drop beauty, what if it was soul sustaining values? Oh no, that's a big no. Okay.
But no, I mean that's also
It's
in there.
good with you, but not good with Liz. Okay, so now we're back at trying to find a different word for beauty.
And this smithing matters. I appreciate it. It really does.
Yeah. Okay, Patty, then Liz, then Bill. Okay.
I was just going to say, he said quality of life there. That might be something to consider.
Soul sustaining quality of life. I would consider that. At this point, anything reasonable, I'm going to vote yes. So quality of life, yes. Liz, your suggestion.
So Kyle, would you mind reading yours one more time? Because there was a lot to possibly hang on to there.
I didn't change anything.
He didn't have one.
I talked around it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
He suggested they take substituting, taking a certain word out and putting another word in to substitute, and then we have a suggestion from Patty.
So if we added the word, it's life and soul sustaining quality. So the reason to not use value, because that turns it into a commodity, values, to stay away from that word. That's why I was like going no. So trying to find it's life and soul sustaining.
I mean, when I look at it as what I value about getting off I-5 and coming on a ferry and seeing green is its separateness. But that's not a.
Did I hear you say the word value, by the way, what you value? Okay, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
there's a reason for that. Okay.
What if we looked at generosity or abundance? If we added life, because it's not just a thing of beauty, it keeps us alive.
It just sounds to me like we're just wanting to change one word for another and that really, yes, go ahead, Bill.
And Bob, excuse me just a second. Bob, the reason it matters is our original constitution was written, all men are created equal. That word men set the course of history.
That sucked.
Yes,
think.
and so that's exactly why these small tuning of
Yes.
single words carry enormous weight into the future.
At this point, where we are now, all persons created equal would suck, right? We've got to say all of nature is created equal, then they'd be okay. Boy, would
And then
that
we'll be
spin
at
their
Bill's
heads
point that-
that would spin their heads around backwards. But Bill, you had a suggestion.
I think we need to take the sentence out. This is not a Walt Whitman job. This is a legal document. And all we're going to do is to get the whole CRC tangled up in a discussion just like the one we've had. And I promise you, as the Romans say, there is no arguing taste. Let's.
How do
just get
people
it
feel
done.
about taking the sentence out? Anybody object to that?
I have to say,
Patty, Bill's not through. I'm
this
sorry.
gets to the CRC. I will vote to make that change. I will move to make that change.
Well, let's move this out unanimously with everyone happy with what the words are. Patty.
One more thing. I'm happy with taking the sentence off. I was just trying to find something that was quotable for everybody to say, this is our county, and then that last sentence would sum it up. But I'm happy with leaving it off.
Kyle and Liz, happy with leaving it off or not?
I'd like to see it in there because I do think it anchors the heart in a different place.
Are you willing to suggest specific language for the line?
Well, if we could find,
Because if you're not, I hope you are.
so just, again, my brain needs, the creative brain needs some space.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'll ask Kyle what he thinks about it, about taking it out possibly.
I have some similar feeling to Liz, I think, on
Okay.
completeness, and I appreciate where Bill's coming from, but this is one of the sole places where we singular places.
So what,
What was just a minute, Liz? I'm talking. Kyle's
One of the only
inputting
places
here.
where we have the opportunity to be aspirational, and I think it's fine to use it in that way.
Kyle, do you have specific language for the last sentence, or would you like to think about it? Because I think Liz does now.
Well, we have parts of 3 proposals or motions on the floor here, so.
Well, no, we only have Bill's. The other one went away. We only have Bill's motion, and I'm going to guess that Bill's willing to accept whatever friendly amendment the other 4 of us come up with at this point. Liz has a suggestion. So Kyle, while you're thinking about it, Liz, what is your suggestion for the language of the last sentence?
well, if we reflect for a minute on where Kyle's thinking out loud took us, of what he appreciates is getting off of I-5. And so I was looking at what is that's missing on I-5 that he comes home to. And it's the wholeness, the integrity of nature that we're rapidly, destroying. But right now there is still the integrity and wholeness. So, and I think where I'm heading towards, and just wanted to have some conversation about this, is, I could spend another 5 or 10 minutes wordsmithing this, or go ahead and approve it as is, knowing I'm going to be working on that last document and the importance of its impact on the hearts of our community. And so, but I can bring that up.
Liz, I know you will recall the last 3 or 4 days that you and Bill were working on that, and that when I joined the committee, and how we came out of that unanimously approving and liking the language that we had in front of us. Now you don't, and you're telling us that if you do approve it, your approval is only going to last the amount of time it takes to send it over somewhere else, and then you're not going to approve of it anymore. Let us try to reach a place where Liz approves of the language. So Liz, give me any sentence, almost any sentence that you would like to go in there. Can we try that, or is that too? Am I pushing too much?
I don't know that I can. I'm trying to channel Maya Angelou. I'm trying to channel,
Maya Angelou doesn't live here.
but Maya Angelou knows in her bones the importance of wholeness. And that's what we're trying to convey here, is we're trying to secure for ourselves and future generations
Yeah, yeah.
our counties, you know, the richness of nature, the wholeness of valuing nature equally with humanity. You know, I just can't get there that quick, Bob. And that's why I said, knowing that it's going to go through a reiteration, I'm thinking I'm okay with getting it out and into the bigger group, see where the pushback comes from the community, from the other commissioners, and, you know, work on it at that level. So I didn't mean it as a defiant stance of, you know,
Of course, of
and
course.
I had approved our language, and then I, you know, I put it out there to people, and when I got 3 people with the same, oh, wait a minute, I thought, no, we're not there yet. So
Yes. Yes, Bill.
I think our job is to put together what we think, because I have to say, Liz, that I don't consider 3 people who have a particular views. This is a county of many views. And when you sit in the CRC, you look at the faces, as I do, and you see stolid faces. These are people who are trying to get a legal document done.
yes.
But if you want to start an argument, start putting in aesthetics. It's a guarantee. And I don't know that the CRC has time or that we have time, but it's certainly going to be evident when the CRC is done with this, what we are doing and why we are doing it. I don't think these words are necessary to get that message across to the voters.
Okay. And that's the conversation that I think needs to occur in the whole community. So I'm suggesting, you know, we either leave it in or take it out, knowing that if we leave it in, Bill's going to move in the whole committee that we take it out. And if we take it out, I'm going to move with hopefully a stellar recommendation for that final sentence.
Bill did not say that. I didn't hear him say he was going to move to take it out. I heard him say he thought there were going to be people tearing it apart because of the aesthetics. What if we get in there and people aren't doing that? Yes, Bill.
The reason I would move, Liz, is because it's going to take an hour. And it's because some people feel very strongly. The whole county feels strongly. And the fact that our friends have a point of view is ignoring the fact that there are people who aren't our friends who have another view. And I think we have this charter is for everybody, not our friends. That poll will be taken finally when there's going to be a vote at the end. But there'll certainly be input opportunities because there's public opportunity to speak at the CRC.
That's all true, Bill, but Liz was elected by the public and her values and aesthetics matter, and maybe maybe they ought to be reflected in whatever document we come up with. I think that's one of the reasons why we're spending this much time on this. I still want us, the 5 of us, to vote on a document that we all are proud of and want to send over there. And I want to do it shortly. So let me ask, maybe the best avenue toward that is to have Bill withdraw his motion, and then either Bill or some other person make a motion that will reflect the closest of what we have all said. Okay.
I'm willing to withdraw anything as my second is, and I will go with what the others go for.
Okay.
At this meeting.
Okay, I am willing to see it withdrawn, and I hope that somebody else will now make a motion that will serve us all. I believe we are probably all on the same page in the first 2 paragraphs. In the 3rd paragraph, we're really close. I think that we are good with the changes that have been suggested in the first line of the 3rd paragraph. We're just down to the last sentence. A, do we include it? And if not, we're done. If we do include it, how should it read? And we're pretty much down to what comes after generations of. All right. So Liz,
I was just wondering, Kyle, if, could hear more from where this conversation is taking you.
I always like to hear from Kyle.
We need a motion.
I motion that Kyle speak.
No one's going to second Liz. I think we're really close, and I'm not sure. I think if there is an opportunity for any one of us or all of us to speak and defend this preamble across the commission, that there may be some heartburn, there may be wordsmithing there also, and I agree, it's got to be passed by the public at some level, and it will no doubt. I can't imagine that it's going to sit as an amendment to the charter on its own. But I think if it grabs people and it has, we are all representatives of the people who live here, and I think if it's done and has a bow on it, it will have more following and more support. And I think for me, it's down to one word.
What's that?
Well, I am not willing to hold up the whole group. I think there could be some talk at the commission level for some changes later. I think in the next 3 minutes, I could change the last sentence and be good with it. But it's okay for me to vote against it and for 5 and 4 of you to pass it too. That's fine.
But you think that you could craft a sentence that would appeal to you and that would likely get our support in the next 3 minutes?
I
Is that what I heard you say?
wrote, for the last sentence, I wrote, doing so for our county secures, and the word that I would look for in the next 3 minutes would be next. Doing so for our county secures blank for ourselves and future generations.
Or
Okay.
county.
And then it's not about the
Secures.
place, it's about our wholeness. It's about
Blank
it's nature,
for
it's us, it's
ourselves.
it's our kids, it's the
And-
economy. Doing so for our county secures
Blank.
integrity, it's secures life. Is that what you said, Liz?
Yeah, so I was looking to see what secures.
I know you guys didn't like this word, but it means something to me. Values.
How about a quality? Doing so secures a quality of life for ourselves and future generations.
That's a different issue.
Okay.
But now, does everybody kind of like what Kyle came up with as a substitute sentence? And now we're just looking for one word. I like it. I'm good with that. Anybody not good with that? Patty. Okay.
You said it was in the chat. I'm looking for it.
Oh, I'll put it there. I'm sorry. I'm working on. I could share my screen if that helps, but
No,
I
I want it to be in the chat so I can copy it and put it on my document.
Oh, she's the our secretary, so to speak, our note taker. That's the right word. Thank you. And what Kyle said was, doing so for our county
Does it
secures
say the
blank
word
for
life?
ourselves.
What?
Excuse me, who's talking?
Does just putting the word life in there work, Kyle? Doing so secures life for ourselves and future generations, period.
well, I'm not suggesting that without it we cease to live. I
And
think that's
thinking
a
maybe we
strong
do.
instant counter argument. Doing so for our county secures future generations. Okay, so it's hopefully if everyone's got
There it is. Let's get us. First of all, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Is everybody okay with that sentence ending the paragraph if we find the right word? Nobody's not okay. Good. Let's find the right word. Who has a suggestion?
Let's hear the sentence. I'm lost as to where we are now.
Doing so for our county secures blank for ourselves and future generations.
this is the aspect, or this is the completeness. I mean, I won't speak for Patty, but the tie-in sentence is
Yeah.
it's the opportunity to
Well,
How about our future?
that was what I was trying
Hey,
to say.
Patty, our
Yeah,
future secures our future for ourselves. But then we say future generations. And we could say, and those who follow. Secures the future for ourselves and those who follow. How about that?
Yeah, maybe that, so doing so secures
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
can someone put
Future.
that in the chat?
Working on it.
For ourselves,
Almost.
but we have to change future generation to those who follow. Those who follow. So doing so for our county secures the future for ourselves and those who follow. Wow, that's good.
And if we switched it so that county is after, so doing so secures the future for our
County's
county.
implied. I don't need
Yeah,
that.
I don't think we need that. I had
Right.
to move out of the sun. I couldn't see the screen any longer.
But were you saying take out county earlier or don't add county later? Yeah, I got you.
Take it out earlier, I think.
Take it out earlier.
Yes. Doing so secures,
Why do you want to take that out? I thought we worked to get that in. What is it that you want to replace our county now?
so Kyle, can you read where we currently are?
The previous was with the blank. It was doing so for our county secures blank for ourselves and future generations. That was changed by Bob to doing so secures the future for ourselves and those who follow.
Hey, it wasn't changed by me. It doesn't have to be that way. If you guys don't want it. But yeah, that is what I was suggesting.
And it's really not for the county at that point. In
Right.
rewrite, it's for us and those.
Then ourselves. Doing so,
Bill, I love.
Oh, for our county, I see.
Bill.
then you just say doing so. Doing so secures, right? You take out for the county. Doing so secures the future for ourselves and those who follow. Wow, you're right. It does need to come out. So I'm going to read it again, and let's see if we have 5 people who like this. Doing so secures the future for ourselves and those who follow.
I can vote for that. That's friendly amended.
I can,
Okay, we now Bill accepts that. I'm not Bill. Now it's Kyle, right?
Not my motion.
I move adoption of that language.
Okay, let's wipe out all previous motions. You've moved adoption of that
Yeah,
language.
yeah,
It looks like Kyle, did you put your hand up to second it? Kyle seconded.
Yeah,
Any discussion regarding this? All in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
I think I'm going to cry. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work on this. This was unanimously adopted on this day and by this committee, and will be sent up to the full commission. Yes, Kyle.
I'm wondering if Patty has all the language she needs in the notes.
I think so.
I was going to ask for a final read.
Would you like me to read it? And then please correct me, anyone, if this is wrong. It reads at the top, delete present preamble and replace with the following preamble. We, the people of San Juan County, Washington, established this home rule charter, securing for ourselves the rights granted by law and the responsibilities of self-governance. Next paragraph. All persons who are within our county are equal under the law and afforded equal protection under those laws. Next paragraph. We recognize the interdependence between a healthy community, a resilient economy, and a vibrant natural world, and acknowledge our place as part of the natural world. We recognize that nature has the right to survive and thrive, and affirm our obligation to defend those rights. Doing so secures the future for ourselves and those who follow. Beautiful. All right, that's what we have passed. I thank you all for that. We have some time to deal with the rest of the agenda. We are going to need, this is coming from Bill, and I think he's correct here. We need the definition of the term nature as it will be used in the Charter Preamble and the Bill of Rights. And that definition then would probably make its way into the Charter in the definition section of the Charter, where all the words are that you go, hey, I'm not gonna, I need to see what the definition is. You look it up, there it is, nature. That will probably involve quite a discussion. Okay, we're not going to do that right now, but we need to do it soon. Okay, I would someone like to head a 3-person subcommittee of this committee to come up with a suggestion for this committee for that word? Or in the alternative, if you all think that's a bad idea, I'm not going to push that through, but the person I have in mind would be Kyle to head this committee, and then he would pick 2 people or ask for volunteers now to be in that committee. Kyle, would you be willing to do that?
I think I would, I guess, with the, under consensus of the rest of the group. It's a, as you've learned in research, and as Bill knows, I mean, it's a weighted task, right? Because, whether it's nature as property or nature as a legal description, I can tell with this group that we're looking for something that's not yet well defined in the world. So I would say yes, conditionally, that we don't necessarily come across the right thing, I guess. I'm not sure we're going to do it in a week, but yeah, I'm willing to, with other people's input, tackle it.
Bill, you have something?
Well, we have to remember that this definition is the axis on which the whole thing turns.
No pressure.
And it's going to be hot because it involves a paradigm change. And it really does in people's thinking.
Yeah,
it requires moving from a homocentric to a nature-centric definition and recognizing what it really is. I think that when what we have approved goes to the CRC, people are going to be very surprised if anything like what I suggested gets out to the whole CRC. And they're going to take a whole new look at the preamble. This is why I was a little concerned of letting the preamble loose without saying what it is we're talking about. I'm game, but I am quite certain that when we let the preamble loose, everybody's going to have a different idea than all I can say is what I have, because I can only speak for myself.
So Kyle, if you would, at some point, not right now, unless you really want to, seek out and appoint 2 other people to join you in the subcommittee, and then bring back a short written report. And you think that 1 week is not enough time, that it would require 2 weeks?
Well, I'm thinking aloud here, based on, I don't disagree with Bill on that, the gravity of the word. This might be a place where this committee hears from people from the outside, people who are, struggling with this term already. I'm thinking about some of the island trust, some of the Gulf Island work that's been done around kind of trying to define nature. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we have the next item on the agenda is a holdover item which keeps getting pushed off the agenda. And I know, Kyle, that you were particularly interested in getting it on the agenda, and that is the discussion of names of persons to be invited to speak to us regarding what our Bill of Rights ought to contain, particularly pertaining to the rights of nature, and regarding what the findings ought to be, regarding the reasons for inclusion of those elements. And so, our problem is we're running out of time, and we can't pretend like that's not a factor.
Okay, to answer your question then more succinctly, I hesitate to pick people, but if 1 or 2 other people wanted to identify as interested, we could go about it. We I'd be happy to go about over the weekend and try and put something together by next week.
If you can. If you can't, Kyle, you take the what time that you need. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but it would be really great. And then I would expect what would happen is you would come back in with a definition that had the support of the two or three of you, that, and that we would have a similar discussion to the one we just had till we work out what it ought to be. I will, Kyle, if you will let me know as we get closer to the time of me setting the agenda, whether or not you think you will be prepared at that time. And if you aren't, we'll put it on the agenda a week later, okay?
We'll have something for next week.
All right. All right. For now, we'll put it on the agenda. That's what we'll do. We'll just put it on the agenda for next week. And if we have to put it off to the following week because it was a difficult task, then we will do that. I don't want to get you, in an impossible situation, Kyle. But
I'd like to hear from Liz. Are you showing all your screen?
Yes.
go ahead, Liz. Liz was first, and then Patty.
I just have a question.
So I definitely would want to be involved in that conversation. And I'm assuming since Bill's already written a potential starting point that he would want to join us, but
Well, that's up to him, Liz.
I know,
but-
I'm just saying he's already written.
Yeah, yeah.
something, so.
So it sounds like Liz has volunteered. So, if you
I
want Liz
volunteered
on.
myself and Bill.
Oh. And Patty, you had your hand up. Are you?
I had my hand up, and I'm trying to remember what it was about, but I wasn't volunteering. Oh, I know. It was just to say that I think that we should have this in hand before we send our preamble to the full committee. I mean, that might be obvious, but I just wanted to make that point.
Have what in hand?
The definition of nature.
This is my concern. It's exactly my concern. Because I think we're going to mislead people if we expose.
All right, here's what I'm going to do then. It seems to be a sentiment that is shared by more than one person here. I will announce that we have passed this. We're not, this thing is passed, okay? We're not
Right.
holding on to it because we think we're going to put something else in. This thing has passed. Now we're
Passed out of
holding on,
committee.
right, by this committee. And I'll report that, but I'll tell them that we're holding it on and not sending it on to them because we want to send it on to them as a package with the definition of nature.
That's
Okay?
right.
That's what everybody wants. Now that means they're going to have that next week. If we don't pass this definition of nature next week, it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be past the middle of April, and we will have sent them nothing. Many
Okay.
committees have done, have sent them a lot of stuff. So now,
I
yes, Kyle.
I could be wrong. I don't have the sense that anyone from not on this committee is waiting for our preamble. They might appreciate a work product, but I don't know that I don't know that they're waiting, holding their breath. Bill of Rights, however, I know there's a lot of interest in.
Okay. All right. That's what we're going to do though. Okay. So, and we're working, we've got the path now for nature. We know what we're going to do. Kyle is going to appoint a committee and contact the people who he has appointed, and you guys will meet or do whatever you want to do so that there is a written report from Kyle that will define nature for us, and that and it is scheduled to be heard by us a week from today. If that's not possible, it'll be the next week. Kyle.
Bill, are you interested in subcommittee work?
Yes,
Okay.
obviously.
So the three of us then. Liz,
There you go.
myself, and you.
We've got the committee. Okay. So Patty, if you'll note that committee has been appointed, put it in the minutes, etc.
Oh, no.
Okay. Do we want to talk about persons? The later we get in our schedule here, the less value it is to have people come in and talk with us. I don't mean it's not valuable now. We may not be at that point where it's too late. I hope not, because I'm sure there are people out there who could enlighten us. But I'm talking about the Bill of Rights and what it ought to contain, particularly as that pertains to the rights of nature. Do we want to bring people in? And if so, who ought those people to be? Suggestions, comments.
I would have to double check now on the matchup here, but a gentleman named David Summers is from Snohomish County. And I know that Justice and Equity is wanting to hear from him about specifics around the JEDI, so justice and diversity, because Snohomish County was kind of more aggressive or more direct about their approach than most other, if not any other county in Washington. So, rights, I don't know the extent or if the rights of nature are included in that, but a Bill of Rights here would have rights of nature and other things. So somebody like that, and I would be willing to reach out to somebody in another county in Washington who's already worked on this at the home charter level.
Thank you, Kyle. It sounds like at this point, we don't have any names of people who we know would be good to cover X subject and would be willing to. So we have Kyle suggesting that there's at least one person who is worth looking into. So I think we ought to do that. That means taking this held over item and holding it over until next week. Okay. In the meantime, I would ask the rest of the folks, Kyle's already thinking about this, but I'd ask that the four of us remaining think about it also. And we've got a week. Think about it. Come with a name or names or not, and if you don't come with name or names, recognize that's it. We're looking for certainly to wrap up who we might bring before us by next week. And I'm not talking about a whole bunch of subjects. I'm talking about the Bill of Rights, and in particular, the rights of nature as they pertain to the Bill of Rights. What those rights ought to be, and also what our findings ought to be regarding why we need to memorialize those rights. Okay, that's important also, the findings. We can't just put it out there and then be challenged later. What makes you think this is important and not have findings? Kyle.
I had also I had talked to Chair Ranker about potentially approaching somebody from the David Suzuki Foundation. So Vancouver, because there's some conversation about, natural rights and rights of nature in the kind of the Sailor Sea and Georgia Strait kind of area. And again, I don't know if they would accept or if a phone conversation, I haven't done that front edge work, but I'd like to with this committee's blessing. Mm-hmm. And next week, talk about whether or not that should be, based on that conversation, whether or not somebody could or should come speak with us.
Okay, with the understanding that any speaker, we would be asking them to come to speak on the subjects that I laid out. With that understanding, we are a small committee and have room for a couple of other people from other committees that have cross interests to attend and listen to a speaker on a specific subject, as long as they're not wanting that speaker to go off and talk about their particular, justice or whatever, when we're trying to focus on this particular subject. Okay, so we can bear that in mind also, and it might be valuable. The other thing to consider as you're looking at names is whether or not we ought to just suggest to the chair that X speaker come talk to the entire group. Now he may have, he may have a cutoff date. I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I don't think the decision has been made as to whether or not we're going to exercise our right to be a year-long commission. I kind of hope we don't. I kind of hope we wrap this up in time for the November ballot. But if we don't, and we have to split our ideas on the two ballots, we will do that. It's really important we get this right. And, we've been deliberating. Yeah, Liz.
I was just going to say 2 minutes till public comment.
Oh, okay. The next thing that we need to talk about is, all right, is the Bill of Rights and source material for what ought to be contained in the Bill of Rights. I have gathered some source material that is interesting, and what I'm going to do is go through this source material and pull out from it ideas and actual phrases that might inspire us either to use them directly or to go off in an opposite direction. Here's so far what I'm looking at is Kyle was good enough to actually complete the the subcommittee assignment that he had, and he turned it in where he looked at the vision statement of the comprehensive plan and pulled from it what I'm talking about, mined from it notions and ideas, and sent that list to me. I'm also looking at the Earth Charter, at the unfortunately failed Lake Erie Bill of Rights, the Town of Grant, Pennsylvania Bill of Rights, the Community Bill of Rights of the City of Bainbridge Island, Salish Sea Bill of Rights, Ecosystem Rights Model Code. Now I'll say this. I'm not saying that these would all apply to us, and there are not conditions in other states, for instance, that would allow them to say X that we couldn't do. We'd have to look at all that. But that's what I'm looking at so far. If there are additional sources, let me know. Also, please look at some of these yourselves, because I think the time is coming up when we need to discuss what's in that Bill of Rights, and probably an initial thing ought to be a list of considerations, and then how do we put them in, and what's important and not important. Bill, you had your hand up.
I have to remind everybody that, for instance, the Lake Erie issue and a bunch of Pennsylvania cases, we can't use them. And the reason we can't is the Pennsylvania Constitution expressly gives counties the power to do what they did.
Yes.
San Juan County doesn't have that power. So we have to look for places where it did. And,
Yeah.
and San Juan County, in terms of controls, can do no more than what the law already allows.
Right.
Can't invent new rights.
We're aware of all that, Bill, and the things that I'm looking at, I'm aware that some of the Lake Erie Bill of Rights, for instance, failed in court. So the point is if there are particular small things that can be pulled out of it, we need to go into public comment now. All right. So everybody's kind of got that assignment in the back of their heads. Please think about it and do something about it. All right. Public comment. Anybody who is with us who wishes to make a comment, please keep your time down to 3 minutes. If we go through the public comments and can go around again, we will do that. If we need to extend a couple of minutes because of our talkative nature, we will also do that. We're not going to leave without the public having its opportunity to comment. So if you would like to comment, please put your video up, take your mute off, and raise your hand. Alexandra, you got your mute off and your video on. Do you want to comment?
And Micheline has her hand up.
Oh, she does. Okay, well, where is Micheline? I just have a note that you have your hand up. All right. Do you have Micheline, do you have video you can put up?
No, I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay, well, we'll just pretend like the eagle's talking to us. Go ahead, Micheline.
Yeah, the eagle is talking to you.
Yeah.
I just wanted, first of all, to thank you all for all your words, all your voices. And I'll go quick here. I'm extremely nature centric, and I have been for a really long time. It's just my nature to be that way. Last night at one of the meetings, Commissioner Ranker used the words, this thing has to have teeth. And that really resonated with me. And I've been like thinking about that since he said it. I just feel that any crack in this, if it passes, will be pried open. And I just want future generations to have the same experience in this county that I have, that we have. And my greatest hope is that if we can gain some harmony, we might even be able to travel back in time and to get this county to be as healthy as it was, oh geez, 2 generations ago. Can we get Salmon Bank back? You know, can we get 150 Orca back? I mean, the potential for wonderful is here. But I do think we're going to have to strike like this year and not say, oh, let's do it 10 years from now. It's not going to happen 10 years from now. This is a unique opportunity. Anyway, thank you very much. I yield my time to everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, Micheline. I will say that we have to keep in mind that this opportunity to create this charter, the changes in this charter will take us a certain distance, but it is our county council that passes ordinances and resolutions. And without those, the charter is like empty. So it's a two-step thing, and the public has to be involved in urging the council to follow up on these things. Okay, next person who's got their hand up. Looks like, I'm sorry, what, Kassenbaum?
Hi.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, is that for me? Yeah, Kai?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to, I share Micheline's appreciation of what you're doing. I think I understand that it's frustrating to go this long. If there's anything that drives people me crazy, it's co-writing mission statements and things like that with other people. So it's a grueling process. And we are really looking at changing the Western paradigm, basically, that treats nature as property and sees it instead as a rights-bearing entities, which we understand is critical right now as we look at the decline and kind of on some level terrifying future that is out there for us if we don't do something dramatic. And I also want to acknowledge we're doing this. We understand we are doing this in a legal system that may not be ready, that does not accommodate this change at this time. So we are trying to push laws that don't exist yet. And we understand that. So, but I think the fact that so many people came on the town halls and expressed support for rights of nature, the fact that you're all taking this so seriously, signals a shift in how we do things. And I just want to thank you for that. And I'm happy to support in any way along the way, and we'll push when and where I can. So thank you.
Thank you. I think the only way that we are going to find out where the boundaries are is to run out to them, go all the way out to them and cross over and have someone yell at us. Okay, then we'll know that we have hit the boundary. But until we do, it's a shame that we haven't done that. Kyle.
Can we get your name and where you live, just so it's clear?
I'm sorry. Yeah, my name is Kai Sandburn, and I live on Lopez.
Okay.
Kai Sandburn.
Prior to signing off, Roderick Nash, I don't know if any of you know Roderick, he lives on Lopez, and he did write a book about the rights of nature that was published in the 80s. And I've just been reading some of that book, and I will provide some of the quotes, but he provides a lot of background on how natural law kind of moved into animal rights and the sort of evolution of what he perceives as the ethics of the legal system. So I'll share some of that, but he does live on Lopez and might be a good contact. And if anyone, I have the book and I'm happy to share it, but I will get some of the Roderick Nash.
Nash, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Is the book available?
I think the library has it, but and
okay, because now's the time. Now's the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'll follow back with Liz on that one.
Thank you, Kai. Okay, Alexandra.
Hey, everybody, Alexandra, Orcas Island. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. I echo everything Micheline and Kai had to say, and wanted to add that it really has changed my perspective when we say for future generations, to really think of the future generations of all of the natural beings around us, to just think, wow, what would it be if each tree had the right to future generations, and every salmon had the right to future generations, and all the whales and all, instead of just thinking of it as wouldn't it be nice if we humans could enjoy the presence of these other creatures, but wouldn't it be nice if they could enjoy their own presence and one another's presence? And I know, just like, just like Kai was saying, that that requires a big shift in Western thinking. But wanted to say that, and the other thing was, as we write in the language about, this aspirational thing, anything we can do to insert that kind of sentiment so that as Bill said, it's not just human centric, but I think it would help other people beyond the group to not see the environment, quote unquote, as an enemy, if we could convey the concept that we're looking out for their future generations as well as ours. I think that's all I have to say right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. I'll say this. I think that you have a committee here of 5 people who believe in the rights of nature, at least 2 or 3 of whom probably didn't 3 or 4 years ago. I'm one of them. I thought it was a strange, weird, but the more I listened with my head and let it come into my heart, the more I realized how right it was and how important it is. And so now we've got this committee that pretty much believes the same thing, and a commission that is full of people who believe that. Wow, what an opportunity. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak now? Is there any new business we need to bring up? If not, I would like to take just a second to thank the members of this committee for bearing with my, sometimes it might seem like impatience, to get something done. And I hope I have respected everybody's opinion. I certainly mean to. And I really am so thankful that we were able to come together like this and that we are all in the same boat. Thanks a lot, guys. See you tomorrow, I guess, at the big meeting, okay? Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved, seconded. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Bye.
We are adjourned. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Silence.
Good work.
Oh, I guess I better close the recording.
Yeah.
There. Stop recording.